Okay, so my Broadway Limited Vanderbilt Hudson finally came in. Like some of you, I'm sure you've had it on pre-order forever, but they finally built them, finally released them, and here it is. So we've got Paragon4 Rolling Thunder. Mine is the version with the disc drivers. And of course it has Paragon4 sound DC, DCC with smoke in HO scale. Okay, here she is on the turntable, and not a locomotive turntable, but a Lazy Susan turntable. So we can spin around and check her out. I saved you the unboxing footage. It comes in the new style Broadway Limited cardboard box with a plastic blister with the manuals and information and documentation slid underneath in its own little compartment. This one is the Broadway Limited Vanderbilt Hudson model number 5344 with in-service paint and disc drivers. Has Paragon4 sound DC and DCC with smoke in HO scale. So let's check it out. Looks like first thing I noticed right away is how Broadway Limited molded in the actual anti-oil canning bends and dents and things like that in the side skirts. I think that's pretty cool. If you look at some of the actual photos of the Commodore, you'll see those in there, and that's just a common thing that happened with thinner sheet metal while it was in service. They would put the panels or the sheet metal on a big pan brake and put an X bend across the center. You can see the X's in some of those, and that would help stiffen the sheet metal up to keep it from what's called oil canning. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Looks like we also have roller bearing side rods, and I believe the let's see if we can zoom in. Yeah, the Hudson's had a booster engine, I think is what they called it. And there's actually two small steam cylinders on that trailing truck that drove that rear wheel to help them with more tractive power at lower speeds. They were built for speed, so they didn't do so well going slow. But yeah, that's why that rear truck looks a little different. It's a booster truck. Let's see, this is pretty good amount of zoom here. We can just pan and maybe spin around here. Let's check it out. We got rivet details, we got the handrail, and of course this one has the white wall paint job and the white pinstriping. That is supposed to be the in-service paint job. It's kind of a really dark gray. Zoom out a little bit so we can turn it around here. Come around to the front. When you unbox the model, the fairings on the front, right there in front of the very first wheel in the front truck, the pilot truck, you'll have to put those on. Mine didn't fit that tight, so I made sure that my radiuses on my layout weren't too tight, and I think it's okay. I went ahead and popped those on with just a little touch of glue. I'm sure they'll pop right back off it with some force, but I didn't want them falling off somewhere on the layout, so I glued them in. Those of you that ordered the model know what I'm talking about. Here, let me hold on just a second. Got my trusty skewer. So that piece right there, it comes separate in the bag, one for each side. And you'll have to assemble that, assuming your layout has large enough radius turns to allow that to work. Let's go here, coming around to the front. We got the New York Central badge. We've got a headlight. Looks like it has a slightly bulging lens. I believe the prototype had that, a glass lens like that, to aid in streamlining. got the footsteps here, handrails, handholds. Got the vent here. That vent was designed, let's see if we can see, did they mold it in? What would happen with this vent is forward speed, the air would come in through this vent and go in this trough here, and the back of the trough is upswept. And so it would create an effect of wind hitting and deflecting up, and it would draw the smoke up and away from the passenger train. And there are some videos of it at speed, and it does seem to work. So kudos to those engineers, using a little bit of airflow to their advantage to move smoke up and away from the train and the passenger cars. With this lighting, you can see the rivet detail around the headlight. There's also rivet detail around each plate. This the front coupler is permanently covered on the BLI model. You might be able to see that oil canning bend in the side skirts there. Let's see if we come back this way. Can you see it with the lighting? Yeah. Let's go around here. And here, that fairing again on this side had to be installed. Obviously the same thing on this side as regards to ball bearing side rods. A little more detail up here on the side of the boiler. If we go up top real quick, what do we have? We have, looks like the whistle, or maybe that's the whistle. That's the bell actually right there. Interesting. Wonder how loud that bell was being enclosed like that. And then towards the back here we have probably safety blow-off valves. We have vents that can open and close, 3 of them. And we have crew figures in the cab. Have I think a deck here, yep, that lowers, raises. Moving on to the tender, we have rivet detail, you can see that. Nice graphics as far as the New York Central text on the side. These doors, they slid open, kind of like a garage door. They, you know, you like the sound effects? So yeah, they would slide open and they could load the coal. Looks like there's a hatch right there. Let's see, can we see it if we turn a little bit more? Maybe not. And we got some text here. Looks like what, 14,000 gallons? Something else going on over here. What do we have here? I think I noticed someone else doing a review, and this was on there as well. Maybe this, I don't know what that is. Anyway, so yeah, we've got air hoses with silver tips, the cut lever for the coupler here, more handrails, ladder, external conduit for the lighting, going up here, going across. You can probably see it better now. Let me look and see a little closer. I want to see what this is right here. Well, I don't know what that was, but for the most part it wiped off. There's little remnants there, but I didn't want to wipe too hard. Maybe we'll get a soft brush and a paintbrush, a little cleaner, and see if that'll come off, whatever it may be. There's also some handholds up here I just noticed. So some pretty good detail there. Rivets in the back. Coming along this side looks a lot like the other side. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Zoom in, not zoom out. Yep. And so we're back on this side. You can see the cylinders for that booster motor there. Here and over there. Got crew in the cab. And I think that's about it as far as looking at her on the turntable. Let's roll her on her side and check out the belly. The belly of the beast. Stand by. Okay, here she is on her side. One thing, I always put a piece of silicone RC airplane fuel line on my pins to keep them connected. That way it keeps from stressing out the wire connections when you're handling the model. Anyway, so looks like on the bottom, very similar to all the other Broadway Limited 464 Hudsons. We have a rear truck that just pivots on a center pivot. It pivots here, and here is spring-loaded. It's pivoting around that section. We have traction tires on the rear driver, which is also the one that's geared to the motor. The other drivers are driven by the connecting rod, like the real locomotive. Coming forward, it looks like it's designed a lot like the pilot truck's designed a lot like the trailing truck. It's connected here where it pivots, and there's a pivot point here with a spring. Coming over to the tender, let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. More sound effects. All right. So if you ever had to take your tender off, there's a Phillips screw there, a Phillips screw on the opposite side, and a Phillips screw in this corner, and a Phillips screw down at the bottom, same location. Those 4 screws probably hold the shell on and it lifts off. There is some detail in regards to being prototypical. Looks like there is an air brake right there. And this thing here is a water scoop. You can look it up on YouTube, but on the East Coast, they would build water troughs between the rails, and these guys could, while on the move, lower or open their water scoop and fill up their tender with water without stopping for water. Pretty cool. But yeah, well, there's the belly. All right, let's put her on a programming track and see what we got for sound and all that good stuff. Also, I remember that I know there's some concern people may have with the pulling power. I wanted to check the weight, because the Dreyfus that Broadway Limited released was a brass hybrid, I believe. And I wanted to see how this stacked up weight-wise against that. So it looks like we're sitting at, what, 26.2 ounces, 743 grams, or 1.63 pounds, whichever method of measuring you would like to use. Let's throw the Dreyfus on and see what we got. It's like we got a weigh-in going on here. Boxing match upcoming. So the Dreyfus on the scale is 1.55 pounds, 24.8 ounces, or 705 grams. Again, pick your measuring unit and compare. Okay, here's your literature. It's in a little cubby in the box underneath the blister pack. You got your Paragon4 with Rolling Thunder Steam Locomotive Operator's Manual. Multiple pages. Talks about CVs, volume controls, all kinds. Operation on DC and DCC, parameters you can change, etc. You also have your function cheat sheet. This side is the default function key definitions for DCC operation in Pro mode. And then on the other side is the standard mode. It actually says see reverse side for Pro mode. Anyway, if I were you, I would head on over to Broadway Limited's website, and I would download the Paragon4 Steam Tech Manual. There's a lot more information in there that you may be able to use in the future. you'll do yourself a favor by grabbing that and reading through it. Looks like I have a tender that's derailed, so let's get that on the rails and let's start this guy up. See what he's got for sound and how smooth the slow speed operation is. Be right back. All right, I've changed the address using my NCE power cab on my test track. I changed it to 5344. I have loco 5344 selected. Let's hit F9 for startup. Got the guy walking out to the locomotive, turning some valves, opening some doors. Got some steam coming out of the stack now. He's still turning valves. Obviously, this is the extended startup. The lights are now on. Cab light is on. Do you have a front light yet? Oh, yes, we do. Awesome. All right, let's go through the functions. Function 1 is bell. Sounds pretty good. Curious about the whistle on this one. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Coupler sound. Didn't quite hear anything there. Let's try F4. That's supposed to be air pumps. Is this guy in pro mode? I don't know, let's see. In pro mode, F4 has no effect. F3 turns the rear light on and off. I don't know. Let's see, F5 should be blow down. We could definitely hear that. Yeah, I think we're in standard mode. Let's go back to a coupler sound. Maybe not. How about water fill? F6. Yep, there's our water. Okay, let's go to 128 speed steps. Let's see how she does taking off. Speed step 1 of 128. All right, let's back up. See if we have a light. And we do. Speed step 1 of 128 again in reverse. Speed step 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. And in case you're wondering, yeah, that's my wife. All right, let me set the camera up here so that I can use both hands to get the rest of these functions going. Hold on just a second. Okay, you're a little farther away. Hopefully you can still hear me. We are in standard mode. We're going to go through some more functions here. So, function 10, coal fill. That's coal fill and auger. Interesting. Water injectors, 11. Brake set, 12. Let's turn off those water injectors there. Okay, F-13, grade crossing. F-14 station sounds. I mean, how many people actually use these sounds? I know I don't. I use like 1 through 9 and I'm done. But anyway, let's go through all of them. Then yard radio chatter, F-15.
Probably gonna be late. How much work? Have you got any EOT on your train? All fixed up, you're ready to go.
Station and the yard going at the same time. Interesting. Okay. 16, maintenance radio chatter.
Oh, moment. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if it's not too close to the track right there, they can unload it right there.
F-17, radio check.
Broke up through that whole thing.
And the station still wants to run its mouth. Let's see if we can get him to shut up. Okay, that was his last call. Industrial sounds, F-20. Dugga dugga. Lumber mill sounds, 21. Big saw. F-22 is a whistle toggle. So what's she sound like now? Okay. That's cute, but I like the other one better. Let's go back. Yeah, that's better. F-23, track sounds. I don't know if that's clickety clack. Probably has to be moving. Yep. Boy, that guy just wants to run his mouth at the station. Huh? Long whistle. F-25. And F-26 and F-27 is macro playback and macro record. F-28 is brake squeal. Turn that off. And that's all your functions. I think it's time to put her on the track, see what she'll do. F9 shutdown. All right, up first is the Hudson. Let's see what we can get here for pulling power. It's going to spin the track up underneath me. I think it's safe to say it's doing 11 ounces. 10.5 to 11. That's actually pretty good. Big boy's like, I think 15. A typical Bachmann steam locomotive is 3 to 4. A scale trains diesel locomotive between 7 and 9. So 11's pretty good. I don't think anything's ever going to beat the Broadway Limited Blue Goose, though. Holy cow. I'm going to test that again just to make sure that wasn't a fluke, but it pulled over a pound on my last test. So let's throw the Commodore on now and see what she's doing as far as pulling power. Okay, Commodore Vanderbilt. So all hooked up, ready to go. Try to prevent the track from peeling out here. Pretty similar to the Dreyfus, actually. 10. Not too bad. I have some streamlined New York Central cars I'm going to pull in the layout later with it, but let me go grab the Blue Goose, just because the last time I tested it, it was over a pound of pulling power, and I still don't believe that. Be right back. Okay, we have the Blue Goose spooling up here. Let's see what she's got for pulling power. Gonna reset this. And let's go. Oh, yeah, it's pulling. So, it's got a section there where it pulls really hard. So 11.8. So the Blue Goose and the Dreyfus are pretty close. So that section of track that I did my Blue Goose test on must have had some VHT on the rails, because man, she was hooking up and pulling like well beyond 16 ounces. So anyway, they're all in the ballpark, right? Between 10 and 11, 11.5. And that's pretty substantial pulling power. I don't know that you're going to have any problem pulling a passenger consist with those, as long as they're decent, you know, decently rolling passenger cars. I know BLI's daylight cars actually require quite a bit of pulling power. I don't know about their other passenger cars, but a lot of the passenger cars that are available to us, if they're not brass, you know, River Rossi or Athearn or even Bachmann, those all roll fairly easily with their metal wheels. You should have no problem pulling 9, 10, or 11 of them, even on a 2% grade. We'll see here in a bit while I pull the cars that I have, the New York Central cars I have around the layout, but shouldn't be a problem. And let's get back to the New York Central Commodore Vanderbilt review. It's interesting to compare my 3D designed Commodore Vanderbilt that I built because I was tired of waiting on Broadway Limited to build one, to the new Broadway Limited release of the Commodore Vanderbilt. I got pretty close, and I basically did my design just looking at photos, so not too bad. I mean, obviously it's not perfect, but I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I actually think, I mean, the real photo I saw seemed, this front knuckle coupler, mine might be more accurate, but who knows if the photo I was using was real. I mean, what's real these days, right? And you have this arch coming down, the side paneling. Same over there on Broadway Limited's version, same window design. 3 vents on top. Got pretty close with that. These dome covers, maybe mine's a little off, but I could have swore that this is what I saw on the one picture that I could find. Also, the tender had doors that had hinges like this, I believe these slid out. They're kind of on rollers, and the center panel slid out. So I don't know if mine's more accurate or if Broadway Limited's is more accurate in that regard. Oh yeah, you can see the hinges on the Broadway Limited version. Mine are just more pronounced. I didn't quite get the rear of the tender correct. It's actually not done. I still need to add quite a few details to it. I like how you can see it. They did the anti-oil canning bends in the sheet metal, which is probably how it was in real life. They would take large pieces of sheet metal and bend like an X in it, right? And that would prevent it from what was called oil canning, or still called oil canning. I'm sure that's very accurate. So you can see the oil canning on those panels. Look, there's X's in them along the streamlining the side skirts. Pretty cool. This design here, how the streamlining carried on down to the front, was kind of difficult to do in CAD, but I got it. Interesting. Pretty close. Anyway, that girl did the job until this girl showed up. But maybe I'll paint this one half of it red, and I'll have a paste setter, homemade paste setter. That's actually not a bad idea since it's already gray. Anyway, just thought it was interesting that I got that close based off of just pictures, and I designed that on Tinkercad, which is a pretty basic CAD program.